Today I'm going to look at this Tripp-Lite Isobar HT7300PC power center thing for home theater systems. It's got a volt and amp display. There's power light, ground light, protected lights, you know, the usual stuff. There's 4 selectable outputs where you can switch through and then enable each output individually. There's also a big 14 gauge wire for the power input. This thing's rated for, I think, 13 amps. I'm not really sure what's going to be in it. My guess is these are just going to be like the usual panel meters like you find on eBay. Some relays and maybe some active power correction. I don't think there's that much in there. It's not very heavy, so I'm fairly certain it's not an auto transformer. Alright, round back we've got 3 separate filter banks. Now supposedly these are actually completely separate. One's for high current stuff such as an amp, an analog one and a digital one. There's 10 base T Ethernet in and out for filtering. Same with phone line, same with coaxial. Forgot to mention there's also an infrared sensor on the front. There's a hookup for one on the back. And I'm hoping that there's a set of 2 dip switches at the front. I'm hoping there's a way to set so that all these come on automatically, because currently you have to like fiddle through the little menu with the 2 buttons, turn them all on. I don't have a remote, and even if I did have a remote, I want it to turn on automatically. Nice solid metal front with all the controls poking through. I forgot to mention there's a nice rocking power switch on the front. And there's one hidden screw here keeping the lid on. Okay. Oh, grounding lug. As suspected, there isn't too much in here. The outlets are all nicely wired with solid core 14 gauge wire. They're all the little plug-in type. And there's a grounding wire running between them all. This is kind of, you know, lame, but it works. And we've got, looks like just basic active power correction, power factor correction. There's a 5-volt transformer here with a fuse. Rectification for the relays. Chunky cap over there. And not much else. Looks like there's a microcontroller attached to the end of this board. And up here, these are just the voltage and the current sense boards. They look like they use like a little capacitive dropper or something to power them. The chips are made by Sonix. Not sure. A little odd, I've never seen them. They've got like a big current shunt on them. No, it seems decently made. I don't know if I would have paid the full $300 some odd for this thing when it was new, but hey, for like $45 I'm okay with it. Thing is, my room is hooked up to the same circuit as the kitchen, so whenever my fridge turns off from just normal cycling, it will crackle on the speakers, which is a little annoying. The filter cans for the coaxial cable look like they're just ready-made modules, whereas the Ethernet one is it's just a bunch of diodes on one board, so I'm not really sure what that's doing. I think it's diodes. Yeah, they're all labeled diode. Not really sure. I know that these things usually don't work properly with gigabit Ethernet, which is kind of a pain. I remember I had my computer linked in through my UPS, and I was wondering why I couldn't get gigabit Ethernet speeds. It wasn't until I disconnected the UPS that it went back up and would sync at gigabit. There's another tiny microcontroller made by the Sonics company on the front panel, and it's got 4 megahertz clock and a little EEPROM, it looks like. Yeah, doesn't take much. I think it's just controlling the relay, so all it's probably doing is checking the state of the dip switches and doing a small delay. Because I think one of the things you can configure on this is a delay so that the inrush current of, say, large capacitors on a power amp will charge on their own after you've turned on everything else, or have them do it first. It's got a couple big caps, some filtering, and they even put a little piece of cardboard. Oh no, wait, that's not cardboard. Something. Looks like fiberglass or something. They put something inside the choke. But there's a bunch of MOVs, and they've got some tape over them just in case they blow up. And we've got a neon lamp. And wow. Over here, there's a lot more in there. Finally get a good angle on one of these Sonics chips. This one is the SN8P2705. I only was able to find the fact that it is an 8-bit microcontroller. I could not actually find any other information on this thing. So yeah, it's just a Chinese-made microcontroller. It does the job. All it's doing is current sense, and the other one's doing a voltage reading. Tucked way back in there is a 7805, because you always need a 5-volt regulator. So yeah, this board just handles the relays. It's just got those the diodes and the transformer and this big cap, and that's it. You know, there's not much to it. It's just got a small ribbon cable sending the control signals to the coils. And there's a whole bunch of blade connections along the front. Yeah, this isn't a very complicated board. There's not too much in this thing. Okay, I've got it plugged in. The dip switches just control the delay. I mean, it says delay adjust, but there's no way to actually tell it to just power on all the outputs. So the way it actually works is you can select an output, and then the other button will actually toggle it. So you can hear the little relays going. Interesting thing, it says it's not grounded. I have it plugged into my kilowatt. If I have it plugged into the outlet, it says it is. I was fairly certain the kilowatt is grounded. I don't know why it's not showing as grounded. I'm sure there's some logical explanation for that. There doesn't seem to be any real way for me to get this thing to power up with all the LEDs turned on. Because it is IR controlled, I could in theory hook up an Arduino to the back IR receiver port and have it just send the signals to turn on all the ports when it powers up. Because I don't want to leave this on. This is going to be in the bedroom, and you know, trying to sleep could be kind of difficult with these 500 LEDs on this thing. So going to investigate that. I may not need it. I don't have too many things, so I may not need to have these extra ports turned on, so we'll see. Well, that's about it. I mean, there's not much in this thing, and it's pretty basic.